The Orphan Grain Train, $10,000. In loving response to Christ, the servant, the Orphan Grain Train movement encourages and enables God's people to share personal and material resources while bringing Christ's name and character to needy people both far and near. Sometimes that character expresses itself in a word well spoken, sometimes as a bandage well applied, and sometimes as a child well fed. In the words of Lori Mercer, one of our missionaries to the borderlands, it's hard to listen to the good news when your tummy is hungry and your body is cold. Over the last 2 years, our Wisconsin branch sent out 54 containers and semi-loads of aid and food, which can cost the branch between $5,000 and $14,000 each. This mission grant will allow our branch to ship more aid to a world of desperate and needy people, needy for both physical and spiritual help. Pablo People of the Book Ministries, $25,000. People of the Book Ministries has outreach centers in 3 South Wisconsin locations, 2 in Milwaukee and 1 in Brookfield. Through friendship and hospitality, missionaries and volunteers are able to get close to the students, meet their families, and teach them about Jesus Christ. This LWML grant will help Pablo train more volunteers for congregations for outreach. It will also help Pablo operate the friendship centers, connect to immigrants so as to share the love of Christ with them, and to make distribution of food, clothing, and furniture to refugee families from a dozen nationalities.
Financial assistance for Concordia Theological Seminary Food and Clothing Co-op to purchase food, $15,000. The co-op on the campus of Concordia Theological Seminary in Fort Wayne, Indiana, plays a key role in helping students feed and clothe their families during their seminary years. While unmarried students live in campus dormitories, most seminarians are second career students living off campus with wives and children. Frequently, these men and women have left the security of jobs and homes to move their families in preparation to serve our Lord in the holy ministry. The food co-op is currently able to supply between 80 and 85% of all families' food and household needs each month at no cost to the students. In the last fiscal year, which is July through June, the co-op purchased 3,000 pounds of ground beef and over 4,000 gallons of milk, 40,000 pounds of various produce items, and 11,000 pounds of food from the local food bank.
Lutheran Special School, $14,400. Lutheran Special School and Education Services provides quality Christian education to children who struggle with specific learning challenges. Often these families, some low income and unchurched, are not able to afford the education they desire for their children. It is our mission to reach these children with the saving message of Christ's love regardless of financial status. As we help them realize their potential as a child of God, they will discover the academic, social, spiritual, and emotional potential they possess. The funding from this mission grant will provide necessary tuition assistance and scholarships for these students.
ABCD, Advanced Bible Curriculum for Deaf People, $14,950. ABCD is a curriculum designed for deaf people. Deaf leaders need materials they can use to teach other deaf people. ABCD materials include a deaf catechism, more than 20 in-depth Bible studies, deaf commentary series, plus in-depth doctrine materials. The funds from this grant will help supply these materials for our deaf leaders in South Wisconsin, and they will also be made available online to deaf leaders across the U.S. and around the world.
Church Worker Student Grant, $40,000. Church workers are critically needed in both the church at large and in the mission field. Our South Wisconsin district has over 200 students preparing for full-time work in the church. These students are dedicated to passing the good news about Jesus to all the people to whom they minister. An undergraduate education costs up to $40,000 per year, and our seminaries up to $49,000 per year. These high costs have caused genuine hardship for most students, causing some to delay their Christian education or to drop out entirely. During the last school year, our LCMS district provided aid to 80 church work students, but the amount awarded was only 4% of their unmet need. This mission grant will help alleviate some of the financial pressure on our church worker students and also to help them stay in school through graduation.
Bethany Lutheran Church, $12,000. Bethany Lutheran Church on 38th and Lloyd Streets in Milwaukee is a mission field operating in our own backyard. Unfortunately, Bethany receives less than half of what is needed each week to keep up with expenses. These grant funds will help Bethany spread the message of hope in Jesus through its many outreach programs. For example, their African Immigrant Food Pantry, the only one in the Milwaukee area, serves 25 families. In addition, Bethany offers a regular food pantry which serves up to 200 families each month. The Pablo English as a second language class is held 3 times per week. A sewing ministry offers classes every Tuesday. And a community fellowship held once per month serves breakfast followed with prayer, Bible study, and testimonies. And Bethany is alive with many more programs within the community that connect people to Jesus, such as Sunday School, Kids for Christ, distribution of school supplies, homeless ministries, a pantry with baby supplies, and a soup kitchen.
Scholarships for low-income camperships at Louisimo, $20,000. Louisimo Outdoor Ministry and Retreat Centers offers a variety of programs for all ages. One of our primary programs is our Summer Youth Camp. Over the past few years, our enrollment has increased, and along with that comes the request for scholarships. The money received from this mission grant will help us to offer assistance to more campers and provide them with opportunities to experience God's love and wonder through our programming, relationships, and God's wonderful creation. Lutheran Braille Workers, $5,000. Lutheran Braille Workers has been serving people with visual impairment since 1943. In July 2012, Lutheran Blind Mission merged with Lutheran Braille Workers, and the Lutheran Library for the Blind was moved from St. Louis, Missouri to Jacksonville, Florida. Volunteers in Jacksonville assembled the shelves for the books, and the audio cassettes were placed on the shelves. The library was ready to open. Patsy, an avid patron of the library for more than 40 years, anxiously awaits her next volume in the series she is reading. This grant will provide assistance for rent and utilities during this transition period as Lutheran Braille Workers strives to answer God's call to serve blind people who are often overlooked.
Alaska Mission for Christ, partial grant, $3,550.
The Alaska Mission for Christ has been working in the Tuk area of interior Alaska for the last 20 years through volunteer teams and lay ministers. There is a huge need for the gospel in this part of Alaska. The funds from this mission grant will help place a missionary in Tuk who will serve both Tuk and several other of the surrounding Native communities with word and sacrament ministry. A goal is that this missionary will also train others to join him in proclaiming the good news of Jesus in this remote part of Alaska. This portion of the Alaska Mission for Christ effort is to carry on the work of Jeremy Faga, an Alaskan Mission for Christ Took area volunteer who was killed in a car moose accident in 2003.